one. This one.
Thank you. This is my favorite. Thank you. This is my favorite.
It's fantastic.
Say that again.
It's fantastic.
What's up, homies? Yes, Fantastic Four is out, and holy crap, I have lots to talk about. But since it did just came out, and I mostly talk about specific parts of new movies or certain areas, I'll mainly talk about the characters and motives. And yes, small parts, but not in detail, because this is a great Marvel movie. Finally, Marvel cooked. And yeah, I already answered my thumbnail there. But still, after a streak of shit movies with decent or good ones added in between, it's just perfect. It's finally good. And yes, this review will have some spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie first, please do. It's a great movie and movie theater experience. Or if you don't care and just want to hear an idiot talk about Pedro Pascal's sexy face, then please leave a like and subscribe for more. And let's start off with the characters. By this point, we all know the characters, and that's how the movie starts off, us already knowing the characters. Well, at least those that are fans of Fantastic Four. But to quickly summarize, the Fantastic Four are Marvel superheroes who thrive on being a family, like Reed Richards, who has stretching abilities and apparently anxiety. Hi, Vanessa, hold my hand. I'm having such severe anxiety. Hold my hand and guide it straight to your pussy. Look, bro, why he always all up on them? I mean, he knows she's married, right? Although it's not stopping her apparently. But speaking of marriage, Reed Richards is married to Susan Storm, a woman who can turn invisible. And yes, the actress is married, so someone please tell her she's being obviously swooned on TV with her brother Johnny Storm, who can set a blaze on fire and is usually the comic relief. And honestly, I forget he played that one dude in Stranger Things that apparently everyone felt compelled to make cringe edits of. But when he smiles in the movie, that's when I'm reminded of the damn horrors of that time. And next up, we got the Thing, or Ben Grimm, who is Reed Richards' best friend, but he's more than just a thing. He's got a super strength and endurance while being permanently transformed in a rock form. And they got these powers by an accident on a space mission, getting exposed to some cosmic radiation that changed their lives forever. Now, to get the basics out of the way, each character in this movie felt real, with certain human-like aspects to them that shows they're more than superheroes and have ambitions and actual emotions. And like, no duh, that sounds goofy to say, every character needs that. Well, hey, they should have told the developers of She-Hulk and the Marvels that when they made those damn movies, they should have told them that. But hey, I guess they forgot. But like how in this movie, Reed and Susan had tried for a baby for years, for them to now finally get pregnant. But when the baby's born, the tension and stress being put on them when a certain giant man wants their child, and how Reed, who's known to be super genius, thinks of all possibilities as a scientist, including the not good possibility of using the child to save the world.
We attempted to negotiate with Galactus, but he asked for too high a price. What did he ask for? Big man.
Is a crazy dilemma, but we as the audience can feel their dread of having to protect their baby and the world at the same time. The Thing, as most know, is almost having troubles adjusting to his new rock form. But in this movie, it shows that he's used to it and is even comfortable with his body, but still, has remembrance and misses his old body, as most people would. It shows this with little moments, although I wish there were more. Like maybe on the outside he's fine, but internally maybe he does kind of have some resentment still lingering for his cosmic transformation. But still, nonetheless, he's a great character. He just needed more character arc from him. But hey, at least he talks to a girl, that he may or may not have interest in. He's also, just a gentle giant, being a protective friend and an uncle to Reed's and Sue's baby. Now, Johnny, however, has gone not a crazy change, but has done lots to show he's been past the childish remarks and has matured both his fire and skills. And personally, I'm kind of done with him always being a flirt or always having to be a womanizer, right? But they kind of did some minor adjustments to that. But other than that, he's shown less as well as the Thing, both not as much to do. other than, you know, be there. But with Johnny, he actually does get a lot done. That by championing to change Silver Surfer's mind to, you know, stop the world from ending. And besides Reeds being the main guy to get the job done, Johnny was the MVP of the movie by learning Silver Surfer's language and stopping her, you know, changing her views to help aid them in the end. Now, the characters' interactions, not just with each other, but the environment and the people of the world that they live in, is insanely impactful. It's amazing. Like, first off, the family of Four themselves acts so organic. The actors were phenomenal. The way they bounce off of each other, the quips being quick but effectful, and how they show them being a family. It's just super nice. And the way they talk to the civilians to calm them down, especially with Susan having to calm down the civilians after everybody just wanted to bum rush and, you know, kill the baby.
Nigga, fuck your baby!
Or how they get praised for being superheroes and helping the world. I mean, it's crazy to the point they damn near have world peace, which is insane to think about. And the way the plot moves, the pacing, in my opinion, is perfect for the story. The way it works, it kind of gives us brief moments of the past while showing us that things are important for the long moments, and skips forward a bit, but enough for the plot to move along in the speed that's not fast nor painfully slow. The humor died down a lot. It lets us linger on emotional scenes, and with maybe funny stuff either in between or way after, it just gives us the benefit to linger on. It almost like it feels like it broke the Marvel humor. And I gotta talk about design for a second. While the costumes are not my favorite versions of the Fantastic Four, it fits perfectly for what they're trying to show with the whole retro futurism of the 60s. And specifically the Thing's design is right on the spot for comic accuracy, but personally I don't care too much for comic accuracy. I prefer the sweet spot of either right on the money or a good spin of the character. But the Thing's rock form in this movie is just perfect for those comic accurate nerds who can appreciate it. And the biggest thing I want to talk about is Galactus. His design is perfect. You know, besides comic accuracy, they made him in a way that fits the retro futurism style, but also going with the comics in a darker way. And that's not even talking about the actual shading that they used for the CGI. But you know, they did use it perfectly to help make the CGI less noticeable. Though there were some parts, specifically with the scene where he's stretching Reed, stuff looks a bit off, but that's just me nitpicking at this point. But back to Galactus, it makes sense the way they decided to defeat him, because he's kind of someone who can't die. But you know, they have him and lose in a way that makes sense without having to depower him. But then again, to be fair, he kind of didn't do much. He just kind of be big and use the Force a couple times. I personally felt they lingered on Sue pushing him too long to the teleporter, but like in a way that's long enough for him to, you know, do something to fight back. But I'm not saying that scene is wrong or bad. It makes sense. She's a mom who's doing everything in her power to get her baby back. It literally kills her for a moment. So maybe they should have had Galactus a little bit closer to the teleporting device. Boom, it would have been perfect. But overall, still a great way to have Galactus, an endgame type of villain, in a movie without having to pull some bullshit excuse of other characters showing up and even shit just that wouldn't make sense to defeat him in a way that only the Fantastic Four can solve. I mean, hey, if I can do it in Lego Marvel, so can they. Overall, this movie exceeded my expectations, as I know it will to many Marvel fans, especially those that's been wanting a good Fantastic Four movie for a while. Let's be honest, just an even better Marvel movie that we all needed. You know, and finally, a superhero movie without quick quips of jokes that ruin, you know, sad scenes or emotional scenes, and it lets the tension rise without the typical Marvel comedy schlop.
Real question is, what are those?
Hell, it even got Rotten Tomatoes to make a good score on the movie, and their reviews and opinions don't mean shit. And one of the things that makes this movie work so well is that it doesn't really connect itself with the MCU. And while, yeah, it's connected, sure, the movie itself takes place, you know, in its own standalone universe without any mention of past films or characters. So anybody can watch this movie without having to, you know, do some homework, watching some, I don't know, shows on Disney Plus, watching past movies. You don't have to do any of that. You can just watch the movie with just zero to no knowledge of the rest of the MCU. Hell, it's so disconnected to the other movies that Usually in the intro with the Marvel logo sequences that happen every movie, showing us the past movies, this one doesn't. It just shows us a 60s version of the Fantastic Four, style of logo for the Marvel logo. Even the logo itself tells us how removed this movie wants to be so that it can tell its story without the worrisome of the super shifted MCU timeline. But let's continue with the actors again. Being great. They work off of each other great. Really shows us that family aspect of the Fantastic Four that we've kind of been, wanting. And speaking of family, Susan Storm does a whole speech talking about her baby, how everybody wants to be rid of her baby so that they can save the world. I love the quote where she says, "I will not sacrifice my baby to save the world, but I will not sacrifice the world for my baby." She is a superhero thick and through. She will save everyone, what she does, and I hate the complaints that people make. She should be a hero and get rid of her child to Galactus. But guys, I'm not, none of you are not, at least mostly I don't think, are a parent to a child. Because if you'd understand the amount of love that a parent has for a child, you would understand that I don't think anybody would risk their child for the life of millions. It is the whole point of the movie that's the dilemma. And they literally work it out to save everyone, including their baby. So come on guys, y'all are overreacting. And alongside that, the action is just great, showing us the smart capabilities of Reed and the strengths with the Thing. And again, to Susan, having her protect those around her, including the baby, is just perfect. And Johnny being the MVP of the movie, so good, man. Galactus' design, both sound, physical, is just perfect. The story is great, no complaints. Maybe some nitpicks here and there, like the Thing or Ben Grimm's. I want him to be more fleshed out. Him and Johnny both need more to give, and I do believe they had some scenes cut out, which sucks. They should have just made this movie a little bit longer to flesh both characters out, not just them, with Silver Surfer as well. I haven't talked to her as much because there's not a lot to give. It's cool, she saved them in the end, but it felt barely earned, if not at all. But hey, she also rode lava and the cosmic tunnel waves on her surfboard, which is dope as fuck. So I mean, I'll take it. Other than that, guys, it's a great watch. I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. It's solid. It's a great movie. It just needs a few tweaks with the characters, more time to linger, then boom, this movie will be golden. But overall, this movie's been nothing more than a great watch. Thank y'all for those that watched to the end. I know this review was kind of short and simple, not even talking about the main plot as much, but I did want something to give, video wise, because the fact that it's such a good Marvel movie, and I don't want to spoil it too much because I actually do believe y'all should go to watch it. It really did just make me want to talk about it, so I could put as much as I can into words into this video so that I can give y'all something to go off of. It really is that good of a watch. And again, if you see my video all the way through, please leave a like and subscribe for more movie talk and reviews, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Later.